What's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, it's Dave McRae.
Hey, I'm Josh from the band Need to Breathe.
I'm Olivia Lunny.
We are so excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show, Akon. Hi.
What up, Kels?
Hey, I'm Judy Gold.
And I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show.
This is Jordan, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm Rob, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show right now.
Jealous?
We are super excited to welcome back to the Kelly Alexander Show an amazing recording artist who has had so much success right around the world with hit songs like Superstar and Broken Bones, and the list goes on and on. She is a legend in Canadian dance, and I'm so happy to have her back on the show. Simone Denny, thanks so much for spending time with us.
Oh, thanks for having me back. It's a pleasure.
So I wanted to just remind everybody, like, when were you drawn to music? Like, was it as a child?
Music, I always say, found me. I was on a path of probably going into fashion design or some sort of visual arts. And there was a talent show. I wanted to do something for school spirit. And I got up and sang an Anne Murray song. And I got a standing, can't get more Canadian than that. And I got a standing ovation. And the rest is history from there.
What Anne Murray song was it?
You Needed Me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You've met her at this point, I'm sure.
I have not. I was at the Junos that just passed, and she was there, and I didn't get to meet her. I was like, no.
Oh,
Hopefully at some point.
Next time. Yeah, because it's funny when you said the Junos, I'm like, that would to me would have been where you might have met her.
Yeah, I'm hoping to.
Yeah, but she was a busy lady, I think, at these Junos, right? Because they were out in her like neck of the woods. So
yeah.
That makes sense.
She's probably just generally busy. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
She's our girl. Growing up, who would you say were your biggest musical influences?
Wow. I listen to everything. I can never put my finger on one specific artist. I grew up in an environment where I listened literally to everything. So born and raised in Toronto, Caribbean parents. But one of my parents grew up in her formative years, my mom in England. So she brought that influence. My dad, both parents are from Guyana, but my dad had all the soca and the reggae, and like the Bob Marley specifically was playing, so all the icons. And then growing up here, you're listening to Chum and all the other stations. So, and then school dances, you're hearing from Rick James to Pink Floyd to, you're listening to everything. And I think that really is what made me so open to so many genres. It's all music to me, and it's a good song is a good song. A hit song is a hit song.
What do you think right now about the younger Canadian artists, like the ones who are carrying the torch right now, especially in like R&B and pop music and dance, of course?
I think Toronto has a lot of talent. I think Toronto and Canada at large has a lot of talent, and I'm excited. I had not been to the Juno nominee ceremony in quite a while, and I went earlier this year, and I was really kind of intrigued to see all the new artists, and I'm like, okay, I've got a lot of work to do to catch up on who's out there. It was, you take a break from these things because you're so busy, and just to be in that environment was excellent. Was a wonderful experience.
Do you have a Canadian artist right now that's in like R&B, dance, or pop that you like really enjoyed? That's someone that you would hear on like a top 40 radio station, like an Alessia Cara, let's say?
Alessia Cara, I really like her voice. I haven't tapped in. I'm going to be honest and say I have not tapped in fully to the dance scene and the newer artists that are coming in. But I'm going to make a point every year of going to that ceremony and hear all the, and be really tapped into all the new artists. I think I'm long overdue for that.
What does it feel like for you to be a Juno Award winner and, also winning Much Music Video Awards? Because like these are all accolades that you have.
Yeah, it's an honor. It really is. When you're in your basement, for me, singing at the wall and using that as your stage and dreaming of, being acknowledged by your peers when it actually happens and you put in the work and the sacrifice, it's a wonderful feeling. It's just, wow, I did it.
Joining us on the Kelly Alexander Show is award-winning Canadian recording artist Simone Denny. Make sure you check out her website, SimoneDenny.com, for all of her social media handles and to keep up to date with her. So I have to ask about, well, first of all, I just want to bring again, if people are listening right now, because we have audiences right around the world, which we're very grateful for.
Amazing.
And for people who might not know your background a little bit when it comes to Love Inc., um, how did the group actually come together? And did you know something special was in the mix fairly early on?
Well, from my end of it, was already working with Chris Shepard in a group called BKS. And so that was already a group that was making great strides in dance music in Canada. One of the first, really. And I remember my first session with them, I got in and sang Dreamcatcher. And at that time, I knew dance music, wasn't immersed in it. And they were like, scream here, hold the note, do this. And that got us our first Juno, and I was like, huh, this is interesting, and eventually we did a few more tracks, Astral Plane and I'm in Love with You, and they all did well. Um, and Chris disbanded BKS and started Love Inc. And then he came to me and he's like, I'm starting a new group. I would really love for you to be the vocalist. And Love Inc. was born. And then he also brought on Brad Damon as well. So, knowing the hits that I'd already had with them with BKS, it was very exciting to see what the next step in the journey would be. And once the music started to come together, I knew we had something special, and the support of the label was everything at that point. So we had the big machine, Vic BMG, behind us. So when it dropped and we saw it go boom, that was overwhelming for me at that time. I was like, okay, this is how it works. Got it. You know?
What was it like to have success with, Broken Bones and Superstar, not only here in Canada, but around the world?
You know, it is, I always refer to it as a Canadian anthem. It really is. But it's also the people's anthem. And I feel that the song has long past the group. It's long past me. It is literally the people's anthem. So it is a joy when people come up to me at a show or recognize me somewhere and they're like, oh my God, I love Superstar. This is what happened to me, and this is how it affected me, and this is how it gave me strength. And it really reaffirms that you're on the right track and that the music you have done matters to people. And that's what you want as an artist. You want anthems that people are singing. Like for Loving, it's 26 years since the actual first release, and it's still going. Like I just came back from the UK on the weekend. I did a show in Liverpool for a massive festival called Reminisce. 24,000 people were singing Your Superstar back at me on the stage. It was insane.
Does that still give you goosebumps, Simone?
Yes, I don't take those moments for granted. For me, I smile from the inside out when that happens because I feel very blessed. I really do. I'm not trying to get super religious, but it really is a blessing as an artist to have that longevity with any song, for that matter. With it's I would equate it to maybe an "I Will Survive,"
Yeah.
song. It just keeps going. It keeps going, and it's beautiful.
Have you and Chris talked about like just how, all these years later that it's still doing amazing things?
I think he knew, I knew, and Brad all knew we had something very special.
Um, the feed cut out for a second. What year did you last speak to Chris?
I have not seen Chris since 2001.
Wow, okay, so
And then I spoke to him in 2003, 2002 briefly.
okay,
And
okay.
that's it. We all kind of went our own direction. Brad went on to write for NSYNC. I went on to do more solo projects. And I think Chris tried to do more stuff in the UK. So, we kind of had capped. And
Yeah.
then, oh my gosh, what was the name of that streaming service that hit?
Oh,
And
Napster?
Napster destroyed our second album. Everybody's like, oh my God, I love it. We just downloaded it on Napster. And I'm like, no, don't do that. So after that, it was just like, okay, time to move on and do other things.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Let's talk now about, so Superstar, obviously, like you said, that's an anthem. So many people are affected by it, influenced by it, find inspiration from it. Why did you decide in, this year to re-record it as a country song?
Well, it's actually been re-recorded twice.
Okay.
There's Superstar 2022 that I did with the Belters Only, DJ producer duo from Belfast, not from Belfast, sorry, from Dublin. and it went #1 on the Irish charts back in 2022 in 3 days. So that was then. And this version came about from my friendship with Graham Trude, who's a country singer here in Canada. His then manager, Michael, reached out to me about singing on one of his tracks. And I said, well, I'm open to it, but I've got to hear the song. So they sent it over. It was a song called Home Crowd, which was high energy, which I love because I'm in dance music. And it was a rock and country hybrid. It turned out so well. We actually shot a video for it and had a blast doing it. Maintained our friendship, me, his family, all of us. And he said to me in a conversation casually, you should do Superstar in the country version. And I went, okay, let's go. So I was very happy when he said that. It had not occurred to me. I have to give credit where credit's due. That was Graham. And I entrusted him to treat it with all the love and care and integrity. And he did. I didn't have to check in with him. Sometimes I'll give notes to people. He got it right out the gate. And we went in and recorded the vocals. We recorded the vocals specifically for this version. Had a great time doing it. And then we shot the video, and it was so much fun. So much fun.
Oh, the video looks amazing. You look like you're having the best time ever, which is
we did. But the most important note to this is that we did all this 2 years ago. So we recorded this and shot this 2022, somewhere 2021, somewhere around there, ages ago.
Wow.
Way ahead of the country trend. We had this ready to go. It was just sitting in our computer, just waiting to go.
So what was the decision behind going now? Because country's taken off again, or?
Because country's taken off, because you're seeing Black country vocalists. And actually, Graham had been, to add to that, Graham had been saying, you need to do country music. You really need to do, this is 2 years ago, before this trend hit, that he'd been really on music. You really need to do country. And he was right. He picked up on something in the air. He picked it up.
Talk to us actually, because I wanted to ask your opinion on Beyonce for a couple of reasons. So first of all, I want to get your take on Cowboy Carter, the album, and why, because I don't think she's ever fully confirmed it, but I think the sense out there is that it stemmed from her not being welcome, and I'm assuming that's from when she performed with the Chicks at the CMAs like years ago. Right. So what is your take on her thought process behind that and the album itself?
I think the album's great. I like it because it has now birthed or exposed us to all these young Black country artists that have always been there, that weren't getting any exposure at all. I love it because it really brought the history of country music in the US to the forefront. Because it's always been an inclusive genre. Black people are always there doing it, but they weren't getting the exposure. Listening to the album, I would say it's an album with country influences. I wouldn't call it a country album. I've had this conversation with quite a few of my musician friends in the States, and we all agree it's a great album, but it's infused with country music, but it's a Beyonce album for sure.
Now, will you record a full album in country?
Could be. Graham has been, like I said, for years now. Let's do something country. Let's see where this goes. I'm up for the ride, so I love it.
As we're speaking, I didn't get any information, and I don't know if you can shed some light, but have you released it to country radio in Canada?
It's going to be released this October.
Okay.
So right now we're doing press and kind of building everything up, and it will be out. So the video's there on YouTube for everybody to enjoy, but the song will hit radio. I actually just performed it 2 weeks ago in Edmonton for Edmonton Pride, and it was fun to see the reaction. People were like, "Oh my God, it's Superstar!" And they're like, "Yeah!" And when you hear it, people are expecting a slower country version, and it's upbeat. It's upbeat and it's fun. So I think I expect all the fans who love country music and love electronic music to embrace it. You can now listen to it in whatever genre you choose. Who knows, down the line there might be a rock version. Let's just have fun with it. Let's have fun. Music is to be loved and enjoyed by all.
Is there any other genre, now that you've tried your hand at country and it's working for you. Is there any other genre that you'd like to dip your toe into, or do you even plan to go back and do some more dance tunes for us?
Well, I've done a rock album, so that's out there on Spotify, Stereo Dynamite Sessions, that's done. And right now I just finished up an adult contemporary project. So that's going to be out on radio in Canada soon as well. So there's lots. I see myself, although I'm well known for dance music and house music, which I love, I'm a multi-genre artist. I don't put limits on what I can do. And I think, like I said, music is to be enjoyed and shared by everyone.
I wanted to get your take on some of the like artists from the 90s that are, I wouldn't say a resurgence, but in a way there's been that I find in the last little while, especially in my wheelhouse that I see a lot is Crystal Waters.
Yes.
She is just blowing up everywhere. I think it was New York
Yeah.
Fashion Week like last year. Like she's just been everywhere. What do
Yeah.
you feel like when you see legendary artists like that still getting love that they should? And I think some of the respect that they should have gotten back then, some of them are maybe getting it a bit now more.
Very happy to see that. I think there's a difference in Canadian and US and American and UK culture with that. I find with the US particularly and with the UK, when they love you, they never let you go. Europe actually as a whole, when they love you, it doesn't matter if your song was 30 years ago or 40 years ago or 50 years ago. Once they love it, they want to have you there. They want you performing it and they sing at the top of their lungs. It's amazing. And I would find that's the same with the US as well. Canada, a little bit. They're like, well, what are you doing now? And you're like, you mean the song that's still a big hit worldwide? That one? So, love my country, but we need a little bit more of a star system here. But it is what it is. But I love to see the Robinesses, the Crystal Waters, the Martha Washes, Thea Austins, all of them getting the respect that they deserve. Those are some of the most recognizable voices.
I wanted to just ask you also, just speaking of that, because it feels like for the years that maybe, how can I phrase this? Because I've always thought dance and house music is cool, but I think there was like just, things ebb and flow. And there was a few years there, I think, where like the Crystal Waters and the CC Pennisons of the world weren't, at the forefront of things. But they were still there at Pride parades.
Yeah.
And Pride events because the gay community kept them there. So what do you have to say about your gay fans and the gay community that have been there for you?
Love my LGBTQ plus SS community. Love them. They keep all the divas working. They really do. They love us and they never let us go. So we are happy to support anything, because they keep us out there. They really do. And they love the music. They love it. It is part of their heart and their soul. And I think it sustains and strengthens and they support us and we support them back. So it's a beautiful relationship.
I also wanted to ask you about your other ventures because I know like you have shows, you do TED Talks, you've got fashion going on. So how does Simone Denny get through the day? Because it sounds like you have so many things on the fire.
I'm gonna be honest and tell you this week is crazy for me. There's a lot going on. Rather than get overwhelmed, I take one at a time. And that's all you can do. Just take one moment at a time. If you start to really take it all on at once, like the world is on your shoulders, you will pass out. So it's one thing at a time.
Perfect. And before I let you go, is there anything that you want your fans to know about something that's coming up that you can talk about? I know sometimes you can't because it's not released yet or whatever, but is there a project you want people to be on the lookout for on your social media?
Well, right now, get into Superstar, the country version. I call it Country Superstar. That's the way I refer to it as. Get into it, enjoy it. Music is to be loved and enjoyed by all. So I had a lot of fun recording this and making this song, this version of it, and shooting the video. And I hope that you feel that joy. So there are people who may not be into electronic music and may be into country music. Here's your chance to embrace the song and enjoy it and love it.
Amazing. Simone, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Great to see you.
That is Simone Denny. Make sure you check out her social media and of course hit up her website, SimoneDenny.com for all the information. Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.